Okay, we're on Baba Kama. I'm already ready for the next Masechta. Baba Kama Perik Yud Mishnah Yud, last Mishnah in the last chapter of Masechta Baba Kama. So our Mishnah is going to conclude with discussing items. When a person does a job, if there's always leftovers from a job, like you build a deck, there's always pieces of wood. So what does the craftsman get to keep? And what does the balabayit, the guy who hired him, get to keep? It says the Mishnah, Mochin she'akoves motzi. Koves is a clothes washer. So he takes muchin are like sponges or like pieces of cloth, tiny pieces of lint, really. Okay, they're very tiny threads that the koves motzi, that the koves takes out. Harei l'shalo, he gets to keep them. Okay, milaben hatzemer, motzi min hatzemer davar mu'at aydei shtifa. We're talking about not just a clothes washer, but milaben hatzemer. His job is to wash the wool, meaning the first thing you do when you shear the wool, it has to be washed. Okay, so they're tiny threads. Davar mu'at aydei shtifa. That she gets to keep those. She'ena balabait makpid. The owner doesn't care, and if he does care, we don't care. Like that, that's the general. Those are the rules. The assumption of the rules that the koves, the wool washer gets to keep the little pieces. I guess it makes sense. We would think, how much wool could it be? How much but I think these Mishnayot tell us about the relative poverty that people lived under, and how every little bit counted, even tiny threads, as we're going to see. These were worth some money, and people kept them. They kept even the smallest amounts of material. They didn't waste anything. Makes us realize how we live in a disposable society, how much we waste. Shasorek motzi. Remember, then you took the washed wool and you had to comb it in order to straighten it, in order to then spin it. Shasorek motzi harei elishal balabayit. When the comb comes out, these threads, those belong to the original owner, because that's a lot, and he is makbid to keep that amount. Okay. Similar. It takes a lot. Meaning, you're smoothing it out. You're straightening it. Okay. Hakoves notel shlosha chutin vehin shalo. So this is a different kind of koves. A koves. This is talking about a koves where once you finish the cloth, weaving the cloth, so then it had to be washed. Okay, so the Mishnah says, the Bartuner says, Derech bigdei tzemer. Okay, when they wove these wool cloths, laniach besof arigatan. After the weaving, they left shlosha chutin mimin acher. So the way they would leave a hem from another kind of thread. Okay, v'hakoves, and the guy, he was like the finisher, the washer, notlan. He takes off those threads, umashvea beged umiapeu, and he's a finisher. So he straightens off. He edges off the cloth and makes it all even. So, meaning the guy who did the weaving, in order for it not to fall apart, he just wove 3 more threads, okay? But those 3 threads were not part of the actual cloth itself. Okay, so those shlosha chutin, those 3 weaves, the koves takes them off, and he gets to keep them. That was part of the deal. Yater mikain, but if it was more than 3, harei l'shal balabait. And the balabai could come and say, I want the extra, leave me the extra threads. Just reminds me like when you ask the guy to cut the chickens, so he takes off the fat. So normally they throw it away, but if you want the fat, you can say, it's mine. If it's a different color, meaning if the extra threads were black on a white clothing, then the koves, his job was to finish the cloth, so he took whatever threads there were and he got to keep them. If you have a tailor, and he left, he's threading, he left, and the guy obviously supplied the thread and the cloth. So if he left enough thread, kedei litforbo, in order to sew, which is 2 lengths of needle, umat lichi shalosh al shalosh, or if there's a piece of cloth that's 3 by 3 etzbaot. 3 etzbaot by 3 etzbaot. Okay? Harei elusha balabait. So the balabait can go say, give me the extra, I want the leftover thread. Okay? And it's a tiny amount. Kedei litforbo, even the minimal amount. If it's usable, everybody wanted it. Because it costs money. Karchash is a carpenter. Okay, if it's ma'atzad, okay, ma'atzad is a sander. So if he's sanding in order to straighten out the board, let's see if I can find it in ma'atzad. He makes it smooth. It's a sander, a smoother. Okay, and these threads, that sand is how he gets to keep it. Uba kashil shabalabai. But if you use a kashil, let's look at a kashil. A kashil is klei negarim adumel garzan. The garzen. It's a carpenter's tool like an axe. This is a kashil, and then he quotes our Mishnah. So that you can look at a kashil. So in a kashil, shabalabait, because it makes bigger shards. So the balabait, he's like chopping off. He wants those pieces. V'im haya osei, it's a balabait. If he was hired by the day and working in the balabait's home, afan esoret shabal habayit. Even the tiny shard, the tiny sand that comes off, you want to use. Everybody has used it for. Nowadays they use sand. They used what's the word? It'll come to me. Remember that stuff that sawdust. That sawdust you use it for. If you're like working a place that's slippery. So everybody has uses for these things. So if it's a balabait's home, he gets to keep the materials that he wants to use. We'll stop here. Now we conclude Masechet Baba Kama. Salik Masechet Baba Kama. Mazal Tov, as they at the bottom. Salik Masechet Baba Kama. Salik Perush Masechet Baba Kama. Mazal Tov to all of us. We should continue to learn many Mishnayot together. We'll dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Rav Simcha. Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.